circulation you want to say. Then properties will tell you about the space you are in or about whatever material you pick. So we have picked walls, and then we see basic wall here. And I just work with this one since we're focusing on the roof. You asked about the roof members. I'll take if you can pick with line or go with a box so that I don't have to draw 4 times. So I have these walls. Then we talk about looking at it in 3D. So as I'm teaching you guys, so I'm learning the Revit more. So if I went to view and click on tile views, you see that you can see the 2 views at once. So I know you were saying, go here, go here. So we can see the 2 of them at once here. So this is the plan. What did you say?
Yes, I can see the 2.
Yeah, so we have the 2 views here in 3D, and yes, and if you want to see the 3D view better, you can come to this box here and shaded or consistent colors or realistic. Okay, so always keep it in shaded so that it's not heavy. Your computer will not be slowed down. We talked about checking our levels. So to check the levels, so if we go to the project browser, pick any elevation, and then we see that, oh, these walls, so in this space, the walls are above level 2. So let's assume that we're working with the level 2, select all instances in the project, go to properties, and then top constraint. So this constraint means that anytime anything that happens to level 2 happens to the walls. So if I make it 4 meters, I can make it, let's say it's a double volume thing, and then so I've double clicked on it. I'll cancel that. I want to just get a number and then change it. So if I zoom in, okay, and change that to 6 meters. So now I have a double volume space. So we wanted to look at how do we make the roof members here. So first I'll make the roof. So in order to make that roof, I'll go to the roof level, the level that the roof is on, project browser, that will be level 2. So level 2 is here. So in order to make a roof, we'll go to architecture and then select the roof. Then we want to pick you can draw a line around, or you want to pick the existing walls. So if we pick the existing walls, we set our offset, which is supposed to be our overhang. So for that overhang, I can say 600. And then this defines slope is for the areas that we want to have slope. So I'll make 2 sides slope, and then the other side will be gable. So if I come to the building, it's showing me now that it's at 600 and it's at 30 degrees angle. So for these areas, I don't want the slope. I will check this box and then come over here and then here. So for any command to finish, you want to make sure that these spaces, there's no space around, everything is touching. So to do that, we can use this trim extend to corner, but in AutoCAD, we'll say chamfer. So come here, click, and then we'll finish by checking here. So since I'm working here all the while, let me make it bigger so that we can see better. Okay, so now we have our roof in place. And if I click on the 3D, you can see the roof here. So remember, for everything that we do, if we want to change it, we should make a copy so that we don't change the original settings in the Revit. So going to properties, I didn't put my video, sorry.
Could you be a bit louder, please?
Okay, sorry, I forgot to put on my video, so it's harder for you to hear. If you're seeing me, you can. Yeah, so here, if we have the roof and we want to work on it, we say make a copy of the roof and then work on it instead of changing the original one that is in the file, in the asset library. So I've selected the roof now. And so I'll go to properties. So here I've put the 2 project browser and properties on one portal. So I can just click on each one and then access it. So going to properties, edit type, and then we will duplicate it. Then take this out here. So duplicate, and then I can call this a roof 1. Okay. So to edit it, I'll give it a thickness. I want to give only the roofing sheet. So that will be like a 5 mm or 4 mm. Let me just say 4 mm. And then we pick the roof material. So going here. So I can pick a roofing tile and okay. Okay, so we have the roof. So we have the roof here in place. And then we want to place the rafters. You asked about the rafters. So first thing, we want to get the material. In previous AutoCADs, you can load in the material. We treat them as beams in the Revit, in previous Revit, sorry, not AutoCAD. So go to structure, and then you go to beam here. You find out that there are only metal beams here. So we need to bring in wooden beams. So we'll go to insert, go to load Autodesk family, and then browse, go through for structural framing. So this is structural framing. We'll see wood. So we have the metal and then wood material. So what we need here now, we have a dimension lumber. They have glue glam. So depending on the material that you want to specify, we can use the lumber or timber. So load the material, to load the material with different sizes. So with that, if I go back to structure and then beam, so something that we can do here for this beam, we'll make it a 3D snapping. This means that when we adjust the roof, the roof members will move with it. If we do this a 3D snapping, it will be snapping to that particular place that we place it. So if I put the 3D snapping on, and then I use this pick lines. So I'm trying to make the ridge now. So I'm clicking here for the dimension lumber. So if we look at it, you'll see that the wood is in place here now. So something to do for drawing the roof, you can make a roof transparent. So if I select the roof now, right click and say override the graphics in view by elements. We will look for transparency and set it to maybe 40. You can also type that in. I'm using this. So 38 works too. So apply and okay. So now we can see through the roof, and then we see that the wood is in place. Over here, if it's not straight, when you draw yours, you can go to this, select it, and go to the properties for the lumber. You will see orientation and then set it to be horizontal. But for now, the thing is straight, so we can go ahead to create the rafters. So in this way now, what we want to create the rafters, it is with the beam system. So we click on beam systems. We will now say set the plane, because we're not setting it, we're not making it on a flat surface. We're trying to make it to follow the slope of the roof. So we'll say set plane and then pick the plane. Okay, so we'll come over here and select this roof. So after selecting it, we need to draw it, or we pick the boundary of that. So, okay, escape, let me cancel, I missed a step. Yes. So go to beam system. So when we say beam system, we want to draw, let me go over here, structure, let's hold on. It's frozen now. Yeah, I think it's frozen now, so just give me a second. I'll go to another view. Okay, so cancel and start again. So go to the 3D and then go to structure, beam system, and then set the plane. So we're going to pick the plane for it. Okay. And then we're picking this roof one, and then select the boundary. We'll select the lines around it. 3, 4. And then we will make it a straight. So if you don't join the lines, it will keep telling you incompleted. So we have the box rectangle. So this line is showing the direction of the rafters. So, but we don't want this direction. We want it to go along the slope. So we'll say beam direction and then select this line. Then we come over here and check the spacing. So depending on your spacing, depending on the type of the roofing material, sometimes we can use 600 or 900 ohms. So let me see, 600. And then select the type of lumber that we are using. Dimension lumber, we have 2x10, 2x12. So if I leave it on this, 2x10, apply. So after say that, we now check the green mark. So you see that it will place all the dimension lumber there. So if we zoom in, we'll see that it's not touching the ridge, okay? It's not touching the ridge. So in order to make that happen, if you select, I'll select all instances. We select one, select all instances in the entire project. The thing I was looking for that step to miss was to make it hook to this ridge, but it didn't show up here. So this other way that you can do that, if you select all of them, you come over here, there is a end cut settings, I think. Let me see, pick one first and show all of them. Pick one, and then we see end joint cut back. We can do like a maybe -200. Apply. So you see that it now cuts through. And then if we want to trim it to this ridge, you can go to an elevation. Let me see the one that shows it as a triangle. So this is east. So now the south elevation will get us there. Okay, and in order to see it well, if you're not seeing the details, we go to fine here, so we can see the wood here. So there are two ways to do this, but because the wood is looking wider here, I can just change. Let me change the size of this one so that I show the two ways. And I select this. If I want to change the properties, I'll unpin it. Go to properties, and then edit type. Duplicate it, give it a name. So I want to make it a 2x6, 2x6, and then the depth instead of 235. Let me make it 120. Okay, so now it's smaller there. So if I select this one and select all instances, select all instances in entire project, I can change it to 2x6. Okay, so and this one is changing with them because it's also 2x6. So make it, I'm building the house like this now. Okay, so first thing that we can do, let me use the reference plane. So there's something they call the reference plane. That means we already set one when we're drawing it to the roof. So in this case, we want to make a reference plane to cut it. So we can do RP and then draw a line to show the reference plane. So I'm cutting it to this line. If I do the RP, then I go to cuts, and then I will select the wood and then select the reference plane. So that cuts it from there. So that if we look at it in the 3D, you see that I've cut it. I should have cut it to the other line. So let me bring it this way. Do that RP again. And then go to cuts, select it, and then so go to modify, cuts, select this, and then this reference plane. So we look at it in the 3D, you see that it has cut it to the face of this wood. So we can select all these other ones and cut it in the same way. And let's see, so still, so is there any other part that is not clear for this rafter that I want to do?
Well, it's fair enough.
It's fair enough. It's ArchiCAD better in putting the rafters, because I haven't done that in ArchiCAD.
Pardon?
As in, do you put rafters in ArchiCAD? I usually used to do 3Ds in ArchiCAD.
I do all my drawings in ArchiCAD. I do all my drawings in ArchiCAD.
Yeah, so when you're putting the rafters in ArchiCAD, is it easier than this one?
This is okay. This is okay.
Okay.
I was just wondering, the purlines rest on the rafters. And I was wondering if you could also do that. Let me see. Then the depth of the roof covering, the roof covering has some depth. so that assuming you take a section, you'll be able to see everything.
Yeah, everything will be like your final section, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The rafters is supposed to come down a little bit. Then the pole lines should be
to come down, and then which is why I was reducing the thickness, because I know that at the end of the day we'll still have to rest those pole lines, and then so if we select all instances and then we reduce, so you can adjust the height. So those pole lines, let's say what size will it be? Is it 50 by 50, or what will be the size of the pole lines?
50 by 50, it's okay.
Yeah, so
That's,
you can see, so you can see the justification if you want to change things. Like now, this place is saying top, so the offset value, I can reduce it by -50 because we want to place those pole lines and then apply. So we have that space now. So all we need to do is put in those pole lines, like you saw how, let me do this instead of talking. So we brought it down, and then we go to reference plane again. So I'm doing the same thing, but in this other direction. So go to beam system again, structure, beam system. And then we want to set the plane. Okay, we pick this plane. Yep, so I'm picking the plane, and then we will do the boundary.
Turn it the other way around.
Yeah, so I'm thinking to draw or to select. So my teacher says select. We have more members now. Go to this one, and then this side. Nope. So usually if things are hard to select, you can be hitting your space bar so that it will select something else. Okay, so I'll now join them. And then this one we talked about, so instead of vertical, now we're going the horizontal beam direction. So beam direction, and we select this one. Then we set our spacing. So we'll still go out and change the size to the polygons that we want. If not, we should have created it first, but now we have to select. So let me make the spacing big so that I will not have too many. So I can make the spacing to be 1, 200. Look here. And we have 2 by 2, 10. We don't have that. 50 by 50 would have been 2 by 2, right? So
yes, you do have 2 by 3.
Okay, 2 by 2 or 2 by 3. Okay, so we'll do that after now. So 2 by 10, I'm applying that. What should I pick? The smallest one. But I'm already using this for another one, so I'll still leave it at that 2 by 10. I'm using that one for the rafter so that I don't confuse you. So when we check that, you can see that the pole lines have come in now. So make it. If I select this, so if you select something, you can, so let me see if you can use draw on everything to select, and then go to filter, and then you begin to remove the things that you do not want. I'm going to remove every other thing here. We still have the beam selected. I can say okay. And so it selected all the beams, but I only wanted the pole line, so I'll still have to do this myself. So I'm selecting one, and then you hold down Control, and then add. If you want to remove any selection, you hold down Shift and remove it. So Control, I go on to select them. So that we can create their 50 by 50 type. Okay, so we'll go to Edit Type, and then Duplicate. And we want to say this is a 2 by 3. Okay, so breadth is 38. So what is 2 by 3 in millimeters? 50 by 50.
That's 10 by 50.
No, 2 by 3 is different. What did you say, 30 by 50?
Is it did you say 2 by 3?
Yes, you said 2 by 3.
50 by 75.
of 50 by 75, and then we say okay. So you see that it has changed the orientation, but still to check, is it at the right height? So is this the right height, or do we need to move?
The rafter needs to come down a little bit also.
Okay, we'll bring down the rafter and then we are fine. Okay, so select this and then all instances, and then we come to their Z. So let's make it minus 75 because now it has space for 50. So apply and then that's
Minus,
fine.
yes. Okay.
Yes, so we have our section, and then what you want to do here is to mirror the roof. So
Okay, the other way.
we don't one side, and then we can mirror it to get the other side. So once we get that, we can remove that transparency in the roof. So override the graphics per element, and then look out for the transparency and then apply. So when we do that, we see that our roof needs to go up a bit. So I'll just select it and then take it up by that base of sets. And I'm going to make it 50 so that we don't see. Okay. We'll go to the south, select the roof. We said that if we pulled it, everything will go with us. So let's try it and see. So this ones went with us, which is the system, but this did not go. So look at it in 3D. Okay, this one that didn't. So snap to Control Z. Select. Let's see. Go back to the elevation. Yeah, so it's the one that is on the face that is moving with it. So I guess we have to adjust this with height. And then if I hide this one, let's see what it does. So the horizontal ones, if you look at the 3D, make this transparent back. Okay. I guess we will not be dragging it in. So let's go to cutting walls. That's the second one I want to look at today. So if you want to move it around, pick a center and then move it. So we use this part of the roof. Let's attach it to the top, and then if I select this, attach top to here, that attached. So let's make the cutting wall. I'll go to level 1. And then if you want to put a cutting wall, go to wall. And then under the walls, we have 3 types of cutting wall. So with this cutting wall, we have like the basic, just glass. And then exterior glazing has grids, while the storefront has the glass, the grid, and then the mullion. So if you try to look at them, what do they look like? Let me draw them aside from the building first. So one of them and the floor plan. So go to project browser, and then level 1, the wall, and then properties. So we have the cutting wall, and then we say draw. I mean, because I've already drawn it. So we have the empty cutting wall here. And then we want to make another type of cutting wall, which is the exterior glazing. And then if you look at the other type, which is the storefront. So we're looking at the 3 of them. Oh, okay, welcome back. All right, so I drew the 3 types of cutting wall. So this one is the storefront. This one is the other, sorry, storefront is the complete one. Then exterior glazing, then curtain wall. So with these three of them, what do we say? If we did the first type, the curtain wall, we can add the grid. So up here, if you're in architecture, you can go to curtain grid, and then when you come to the face, you can start putting in your grid by yourself on it, depending on what you're trying to do. So this one's already have the grid. You can go vertical or horizontally for this grid. So just keep moving your mouse. It will automatically change if you keep moving. So we've put the grid. And then after, you can also put in one segment. So if I come here now, to only draw it in one segment when you select that. So horizontally, and I zoom in here.
The grids are like millions of frames, right?
Yeah, so these grids is what we take the millions. So the grid is like you're separating it first. You're placing grids on the glass.
Okay.
Then this one is the one that comes with millions already. But this second one comes with the grid. So what you want to do is, if you're in architecture, you can select million and then place it on it. So this is where you have your millions coming in. And then we can select the millions. So in selecting, if I hit tab, it will change. And then I can edit the type of the millions and then change the type. So let's do that on this one that is complete, so that we can set things. So if you select this window, and then you can see that we have grids, the horizontal grids and then the vertical one. So if you came to the horizontal, you have justification, and you click on this arrow, you can say change it to end, because it was beginning. It now took that smallest part to the end, or rather to the beginning, I mean opposite side. And then if you come to go in horizontal, so come to the horizontal again, and then make it center. So it now start dividing. So we have the center and then spreads out. So you see that it's equally based on both sides. And then if we select the whole window again, and then come to edit type, like it's raining here now. All right, so come to edit type, and then you were talking about the millions here. So if you want to set your millions, the layout, your fixed distance is important. You can click here and change that fixed distance to say no distance, fixed number, maximum. So you choose how you want to set the millions. And then the vertical millions, we have interior type, we have the border. So we can change the size of the interior millions. We have 50 by 100. We can make it smaller. Let's say we're picking rectangular 30, and then we change the horizontal to 30. If we apply it, okay. So you see that the interior millions are now smaller in size, and then the borders they are bigger millions for it. So if we go to our plan level 1, and then we have our storefront here. Yeah, so we pick the storefront, and then we want to place it in the wall. Yeah, so go to architecture, wall, and then if we click, so as you click here, does ArchiCAD do this when you're clicking, it will give you dimensions?
No.
Like distance. Yeah, so this is the thing I just really liked when I saw it, that I don't have to, because when I was learning with my boss in the firm I worked with, we always try to put things in the middle, the window in the middle of the room and all that. So this was, I was like, thank God I can even measure from one side, even if I don't have to do middle too. So 2.4 from that end, I can ask, okay, I want to end 2.4 from this end. It's supposed to give me that. If it doesn't give me, I'll look at the dimension here and say, okay, 18 meters is okay for me. And then go to 3D. So this wall I just put in should be on one side. Okay, this other side. So select, come to the center, and I turn it around. So this wall, what I just drew now is this. So you can see that it's even higher than the roof. Unconnected height is 8 meters. I'll make it 4 or 5. So Now we have 445 unconnected heights. So this way now we want to put doors in this curtain wall. How do we put the doors in the curtain wall? We first have to bring in the door to this drawing. So in previous Revit, you would go and load in, you go to door, and then you will load the family of the door. If you click here, it will send you to a library that is already in your system when you install the Revit. But for in this case now, from 20, let me see the later versions because I'm not sure the particular end. So I'll save this as week 5. So for bringing the doors into the more recent versions, we go to insert, insert, and then load Autodesk family, and then we look out for doors. So I can just go back because of the wood I went, it's still at the wood section. So doors, so you see that there are 3 types of doors that we can use on the curtain wall. We have this double with just glass, no frames. We have the one with frames, and then we have the single door. So we start with let's start with the first one, we load it. So when we have loaded it, before we can install this door here, we come to this, the curtain wall, we will have to remove the base panel, okay? So if I select it, everything's selecting, but we want to just select only this base. So when your mouse is there, you press on the tab and select it, unpin it, and then delete. So once we do that, we want to select the panel itself. So same thing, if I hit the tab key, then I can select the panel. Zoom in well. Yeah, so select the panel and then unpin it. Then we can come here to look out for the door that we loaded. So you will see door curtain wall. If we select it, it will automatically place the door in that panel. And then if we go to this base here and select fine, you can see the door handle there. So to place that door. If we bring in, to do that again, so go to load Autodesk family, we take the second door and then load it, and then come here to unpin this and then delete, and then select the panel. So tab will help us rotate around what we're selecting. I'm still just trying to get the door now. I hit tab again. So select it and then unpin, and then come here and select the storefront type of door. So you can see that this one has a thicker panel around it. Yeah. So the last thing we want to look at the floor. What type of floor we're going to put here? So our lowest level is level 1. I should stop and ask for the curtain wall. You have any questions for that one? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I was saying, do you have any questions for the curtain wall?
Oh, wow. None for now, none for now.
Okay,
So,
so I wanted to move on to the floor. I said, let me stop and ask if you had any questions for this one. So go to level 1.
but could we see this in plan view? Let's see. What does it look
Yeah.
like in plan now?
Yeah, so
Okay,
this is the
okay,
plan here now.
okay.
Level 1 plan. So we don't have a floor. We want to put in the floor here. So to put floor, go to architecture, floor, and we have generic 150 wall. So I can go with that and select a box. And then I'm doing the outer edges of the wall. So go to 3D. So we see that our floor is in place. I think the doors are on top of it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So in this floor now, let me hide the roof so that we can look at the flow from inside elements, and then if I select all this, hide it by the category, I don't see all that, and then we go to the wheel center. So we have our flow in place now. So let's say you want an opening in the floor. Maybe you had bits, or you want to put an elevator for ground floor. So we go back to that level. Our floor is there, but it's easier to select it from this 3D. So let me see. I selected the floor, and then I go to level 1. So once you select it in any view, it will be selected in any other view that you go to. So in order to adjust the flow, you will go to edit boundary. And then for the opening, if it was square or maybe rectangular, I'm going with this box now, and I come in here and draw another box and check it. So if we went back to the 3D, you'll see that you have a hole inside because of that box. So it will automatically fit to that space. And then if we wanted, so I'm still going back to edit boundary to that level 1. And then I will change this to probably a circle. So I delete this and then draw a circle and check it. And then we see that we have a circle in the floor. Then there's one thing. What did you want to say?
No. I can see that now.
Yes. So one more thing that we want to do is show if we want to slope the floor. If we want to slope the floor, it says if we select it, yes, like a ramp. We actually have a ramp too. So in this, if I come to this level 1 now, if you want to do a ramp, there's a ramp tool here that you can click, and then come. Let's say we want to do a ramp at the entrance. We have line here, so I always forget how to use this thing. So come to the entrance and then click. So it's asking you have to give it heights. So now it's giving automatically level 1 and level 2. But we don't want it to get to level 2, right? So I have to let me create another level so that it works. Yes, I'm discarding the ramp. I go to the south elevation, and then I want to create another level under here. So architectural level, and then pick this. Let me just do something like 600. So offset by 600. And then here, so we have a level 3 now. So we go to level 1 now and see, we haven't drawn anything to show level 3 here, but we can set it here. So it knows that there's a level 3. So we go to ramp. So we're going to move it from level 3 to level 1. So come to base level. That base level will be 3. And then the top level will be 1. So you see that it's supposed to give us a height somewhere, 1 and 3. Okay, that would have been a wall. I will give you the height. But if we draw, it's doing this. So it's telling us that based on the slope, it has given you a beginning and an end. And so what we need to do is, if we check it, we'll still have to move it to the beginning. And then you can take off the handrails, you can take off the, can set the width here. I want it, if you want to place this properly, measure the width of those 2 doors, and then this is 3 meters. So we want a ramp that is 3 meters wide, not 1. So 3 meters, apply. So it goes to fit the door, and then you can use your arrows to move it in place. And then let's see what we have done in that 3D. So you can see that the ramp is there, and this ramp is running through 600. Most times these what you call the handrails, they're most times they're looking let me see, ancient. So you can delete this and put your own ramp or your own handrail, or go to the settings and then change. So if I select this and go to edit type, I can change the rail structure here, edits, and then so here Revit is something, which is why I like it. They have people that have made libraries. You have this beam object library that people have. So let me go to my bring in a new window here. So you can go online and get beam objects. So free to download. If you go to the BIM objects for everyone, you sign up. I haven't signed up here, but if we look here, you will see furniture, sanitary things, doors, lighting, landscaping. And then people that make their products, they have the object library in BIM, because the idea is that they want people to specify their own products. So they already have their BIM object for their own products that you can put. So this coffee table, let's say we put it in our drawing, then the owner likes it. You can order for this exact object in the house. So you need to see everything in the house that you're already putting in your proposed design. I'll cancel this. Those are the things that you can put in there. I know that here we can select, we can adjust here, we can adjust all the placements, which one is the host, the top, the offset from base, the spacing. So this is 0. If I change one side, let me change to 50, 50, and 50 here. And apply. Okay. So the angle joints, I'm saying no connector, rail. So it's very detailed. Even it's telling you, you want to trim, you want to weld. So use top rail. But I don't want to see the top rail there. Apply. They cannot create because I've gone and set a wrong setting here. So it has deleted it. Okay. So Control Z brings it back, and then I put 50 too much. Those 50 maybe should have been 1. So let's just do something simple and say we're removing the top rail. Apply. Okay, because of the top rail. Okay. So put back the top rail and then go to here. I see no connector, and then the welding. Apply. Okay, so but most times I prefer to draw in my own handrails. I can use the wall, and then with this slab, if I select it, edit type, what I do is I make it thick, like it should not be slim like that. So shape is thick, I make it solid, apply. So that way it's not just flying in the air. It looks more solid there. Then put a flower bed and all that. So I'll stop here today.
Oh, thank you very much. So with this now, you could do your proper perspective and put colors, entourage, and all that.
Yeah,
Really?
so my entourage, I use, if you see startup, you'll see that and skip. So let me share it again, since go to Zoom. I want to share my screen and show you. Yeah, so like this now we are seeing if you want to do your views, so it goes back to level 1. I can go to view, and then oh, sorry, I want to click on section. So view, under this arrow, you can pick a camera and then choose where you want to see the building from.
Okay.
So as it is like this, I can expand the view. So in Revit here, each view you have to go and select how you want to see it. So if I pick a realistic, this way, I can select this, attach top to the roof so that we're not seeing skies, and select all instances in the projects, and then we attach the top to the roof. Okay, so when we have this, we can go to this render. We have render up here. So with this render, you can pick the quality of render you want to see. So the higher the quality of the render, the more time it will take. We have high, we have best, we have medium. So let's pick high. And then the resolution, all these DPIs also affect the quality, 75 to 600. If I pick 300 DPI. So I actually do my rendering. I have my other computer is a gaming laptop. So I have this software called Enscape. So probably next week I'll use my other computer too, so that you can see how I use Enscape to work with it. It works with Revit like real time. So you're bringing in objects, you're bringing in the trees into Revit with Enscape. It's built onto it. So you see up here this Enscape plugin. And from there you can bring it in. Okay, so for the lighting, we click on this, and then you can pick in session lighting. It will pick the exact weather or climate of the place that you are in, and then use it for the drawing. So if we say in session, this is lighting, you can say single day. So most times we pick a summer because that's when the sun is brightest. Summer, you can pick the time of the day. And this is Boston, it's telling us. So if I want to change the location, I click here, and it has internet mapping. I can look for somewhere. Which city are you in?
Right now I'm in Aba.
Aba. Okay, that is close to Port Harcourt. That was in Port Harcourt. So Aba, and it's still saying, so let me just say Nigeria so that it will get some bearing. And then we search. So you see that Aba has like 5. This 5, they will give you the weather station if they have. They give you the correct climate. So I'm picking Aba now. So search again. So I pick Aba. So now it's telling me that you have weather stations around you, that you can use this to do your energy modeling for your building. You understand? So if you selected, what did you say?
I said okay.
Okay, so if I pick that, okay, and then apply, you see that the rendering has changed, and then okay. So once we've set the sun, we have backgrounds. You can pick the kind of clouds that you want to see. So no clouds, very few clouds, cloudy, very cloudy, color or image. So sometimes I used to import images. If I have it in my system, I'll just go here, pick an image, and then bring it to now be the background of this picture. Let me see, we have image in this Revit. So go to documents. I'll go to something for Revit tutorials. And then I just have those plans. I don't have, so we can pick, let's look for background. This is the place. So let's just say images of Aba. Since we're using Aba, let's look for images of Aba, Nigeria. I'm sure there will be one of the market or something. Anyway, this one is looking more like a street, so we can, but this is really little thick house. This road. Okay, so let's just use this one. So save this image as something in Revit tutorials. It's loading. So here we call this, it's Abia Project to Aba, and we save. So go back to Revit, and we want our picture. So Aba is here, open. And it's asking us, do you want the original size? Do you want to stretch it? What's the height? Let me just take the original size, and then okay. So we have put our image, customize image, adjust exposure. So this is where everybody has their own, your picture will look different from mine. When you play with, should it be brighter, darker, lighter, and all that? So I'm going to leave it by default like this and say okay. And then after all that, we can now click on render. So hopefully this high setting will not take too long, but it will show us the progress of that. So you know how it is when it does this first picture, we'll then see how we can adjust the image. Usually you might have just the foreground, and then maybe you want to put this in a compound. If it takes too long, we can set it to the ordinary draft settings.
Okay.
All right, so let me stop it and then set it to be medium. Yes, I want to stop it, and then since it's a live class, let's make it a draft and then render. Another thing that makes it heavy is this DPI we selected. The least one was 90. So we see that the picture is now showing and then the building is showing. And it looks funny because I didn't put any ground. So if I come back here, so once it's you have a picture, you want to export it into, it's coming into Revit tutorials. So let's see week 5, and then we save that. Okay. I'm talking about putting the ground. Let me put the ground and then you can call it a day, right? So close it. If I want to put the ground for this, let's make this thing look nice. Edit type, our ramp is through 600, so 600, okay, apply. And then we'll come to our sites, project browser, go to sites, and then we give ourselves massing and sites, topo surface. We want to place points, so we can leave it as zeros, and then we place our sites, check. And then we say sub-region for the areas that will be paved. So get a box, and then we can just do something around it. And check. So if you go to our 3D view 1, you see that we have our, and then we can put in to change the material. If I click it alone, go to properties, and make this material concrete. So it's coming up, click on the material, make this concrete cast in place, and then on this material now. So we see that our, we put that thing under. So I need to take our level, it's hiding our ramp. So go to sites, select the site, and then edit the surface, the points. I'm making it now -600. And these two. So you can change the points, the height of each point. And then okay, so when we do that, it will not hide our ramp anymore because we offset down for the ramp. So with this now, let's render this now again, so that we go to the view, go to render, make sure it's draft. So for it to be faster, so you can make this the resolution smaller, so it can be faster. And so now we render.
Wow, that's nice.
So because we have put the ground in, is showing, I mean, it can look better because the picture now is brighter than our building. Do you see? So
Yes.
the picture is better than our building. We can adjust our sunlight. Let's make it let's say none. And then let's see, still, and then make it none. Apply.
So it will actually give you the climate situation as at that time, right?
Yes, it gives you the climate. So that one is if you want to do energy modeling, you can use that to check your thermal. What did we do that time? We did the energy modeling in terms of materials that you choose for the building. If you had the thickness of the walls change, so that one also falls under retrofitting. If you had a building that you wanted to renovate, you compare materials. If you pick based on your budget, right? If you picked concrete or you pick wood, you can compare them to see which one works better in that climate there.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, so we can do the next things for our next class. It actually looks sharp here too. Okay, so you're welcome. Thank you for showing up too.